Less than 24 hours after China-US talks, it is not easy to withdraw the ship without emergency. The Philippine ship number 9701 withdrew from China recently. The spokesperson of China Coast Guard Bureau in Shembin Shihu said that Philippine Coast Guard ship number 9701 illegally stayed in China for nearly 5 months, seriously infringing China's territorial sovereignty, seriously violating declaration on the conduct of parties in the South China Sea, and seriously undermining regional peace and stability. China has indisputable sovereignty over Nansha Islands and its surrounding waters, including Xianbinjiao. The Chinese Coast Guard will continue to carry out between rights protection and law enforcement activities in the waters under China's jurisdiction in accordance with law and resolutely safeguard the country's territorial sovereignty and maritime rights and interests. Previously, the ship sought to exist in Shembin Reef for a long time through certain party, attempting to occupy Chinese territorial waters. In the past 5 months, the Chinese Coast Guard has taken control measures against the Philippines Coast Guard ship number 9701 in accordance with the law. The 2,000-ton Fei Haijing 970 ship Teresa Magbanwa is one of the two law enforcement ships assisted by Japan to the Philippines. It is 97 meters long and can carry an Airbus H-145 helicopter. It is the largest and the most advanced patrol ship in active service of the Philippine Coast Guard. According to the Philippines, the evacuation of the Philippine Coast Guard 9701 was due to the medical needs of the crew and necessity of maintenance. The Philippine media quoted sources as saying that the food and drinking water on the ship had been exhausted 2 days before the evacuation. It can be said that Philippines' withdrawal was both reasonable and somewhat unexpected. 2 days ago, a spokesman for Philippine military also clamored that he would never leave the Fresh Ice Reef and even mobilize a large number of freshmen to rush into the new ice reef. On this basis, the United States and Western countries also opened fire and frantically fanned the flames. The senior U.S. military officials also used the U.S.-Philippines Mutual Defense Treaty to support the Philippines. However, a lot of harsh words were said. The Filipinos ran away in a panic. The reason is simple. Under the tight blockade of China, the external supply channel of the 9701 ship was completely cut off. If they did not run away, the Filipino crew on the ship would probably die of starvation and thirst. After many Chinese departments issued an ultimatum to the Philippines to immediately withdraw the ship and personnel, Philippine President Marcos finally admitted defeat. From this perspective, Marcos withdrew the illegally detained Coast Guard ship partly because China's strong warning worked. He hopes to reduce the risk of new round of conflict between China and themselves. One is to reduce provocations and resolve differences with China through dialogue and consultation, which is undoubtedly what China wants to see. Secondly, the Philippines may relaunch an attack on China's territorial waters after a period of rest. This is second possibility. The failure of the Philippines' action this time reveals the complexity of the South China Sea issue and China's determination to safeguard its sovereignty. From the geopolitical perspective, this incident is an important game of the US Indo Pacific strategy in the South China Sea. The United States tried to encircle China in South China Sea by supporting allies such as the Philippines, but the withdrawal of 9701 ships exposed the fragility of this strategy. From an economic perspective, the stability and security of South China Sea as an important global shipping channel is related to the world economy. According to experts estimates, about 5 trillion US dollars of trade is conducted through the South China Sea each year. So this incident may trigger international investors' concerns about the stability of the region, which in turn affects the global economic landscape. On the morning of September 10, Wu Yan, a commander of Southern Theater Command of Chinese PLA, held a video call with Paparao, commander of US Indo-Pacific Command. The Chinese side publicly described the content of the talks in only one sentence, and the two sides exchanged in-depth views on issues of common concern. It is reported that the defense range of PLA Southern Theater Command covers the South China Sea region, while the radiation range of US Indo-Pacific Command also includes a vast area from polar regions to the Pacific Ocean and then to the Indian Ocean. In recent years, the situation in South China Sea has become complicated by frequent provocations by individual countries and frequent freedom of navigation operations led by the US military, which has also increased the risk of friction between Chinese and American militaries. This is the first call between theater level commanders of the Chinese and American militaries in more than 2 years, which will undoubtedly help ease the tense atmosphere between the two militaries. It should be said that military dialogue between China and the United States can be seen as joint effort made by the two major powers to prevent the relationship from getting out of control, indicating that even if there are serious differences, China and the United States still have the ability to prevent the escalation of conflicts. It should be pointed out that US President Biden has always defined his China policy as competition and especially emphasized that the premise of competition is that there is no military conflict between China and the United States. To this end, Biden has called on China and the United States to conduct high level military exchanges in the past 2 years. Now, China has satisfied his wishes and given the United States the opportunity to communicate, temporarily stabilizing Sino-US relations. Both China and the United States realize that South China Sea is the area where two countries are most likely to have a conflict, and they intend to control risks through continuous dialogue. The top priority for the United States is to find out whether China has the idea and determination to fight the United States in the South China Sea. Therefore, whether it is Sullivan or Paparao, there are only two fundamental purposes of communicating with China. One is to find out China's bottom and try to figure out China's intentions, and the other is to send the false signals and conduct strategic deception films on China. We must, as Chinese, firmly believe that United States will never cool down the situation in South China Sea, but is gradually increasing its military intervention in South China Sea, coercing or even forcing the Philippines to provoke a war in South China Sea. Recently, during the Xiangshan Forum in Beijing, Rommel Banley, former Deputy National Security Advisor of Philippines, said in an interview with media that even if there were conflicts between China and Philippines, they could be resolved within China-ASEAN framework. But the United States is behind the Philippines, which is taking an increasingly tough stance. This statement clearly shows that there are different voices in Philippines about the United States, manipulating the Philippine politicians to contain China. What they see is that the Philippines will not only gain any advantage from the confrontation with China, but is more likely to lose more opportunities to cooperate with China for development and improve people's livelihood.
After watching this video, don't forget to give it thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. Hit the bell icon to get notified whenever we post new content. Your support means a lot and helps our team create more videos like this. Thanks for watching.